Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Well, welcome everyone to Kahului Hongwanji Buddhist Temple's YouTube Sunday service. Today's service is for Gotan-e, one of our major services, the birthday of Shinran Shonin, and also we have our family gratitude remembrance today. So Gotan-e celebrates the birthday of Shinran Shonin, who is called the founder of the Jodo Shinshu teaching. As Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, revealed the true teaching of the Pure Land by preaching the larger sutra, Shinran truly understood the importance of the Buddha's teaching. So we are truly grateful that Shinran lived and was able to share that realization with us. So for this reason, our celebration of Gotan-e should be an occasion of joy for all of us. Because of Shinran's life, we have been able to encounter the true reality of Amida Buddha's great compassionate vow. Today is also our family gratitude remembrance, and we will offer an expression of gratitude for all of our departed family members and friends who have a memorial remembrance during this month of May, as well as, of course, you may remember anyone that you would, important part of your life that you would like to remember. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And so we'll begin our service with the Vandana and Tisarana, which is praising the Buddha and the Buddha's enlightenment. And then we will have the aspiration for Gotan-e and for the family gratitude remembrance. And then after that, we will chant the 12 Homages, which is the English Junirai, followed by the recitation of the Golden Chain of Love. After that, I will share a message, a reflection on the Buddha Dharma with you today. And then we will recite or chant the Metta, the loving kindness meditation, followed by the singing of the Nembutsu. And then I will have some closing words and announcements for you. So thank you so much for being here today, and let's now put our hands together and recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Bhutang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Today, Kahului Hongwanji Sangha has gathered together for this Gotan-e service in the spirit of harmony and appreciation to celebrate the birth of our spiritual founder, Shinran Shonin. May our minds and hearts be always guided by the wonderful teaching of compassion and humble self-awareness that he shared with us. May we all dedicate ourselves to follow the Buddhist path of awakening throughout our lives. Today we also remember our loved ones who have passed away, particularly those whose memorials are observed during this month of May. In appreciation of them, let us reflect on the transience, the uncertainty, and the impermanence of our existence, so that we may awaken to realize the true significance of our living. Let us live our lives in gratitude for the many great kindnesses we have received, and seek to repay our debt of gratitude to all of our loved ones and friends for the countless gifts we have received. In deepest gratitude, let us repeat the name which is true reality itself, boundless light, limitless life. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Gods and men all bow in awe to Amida the revered, in Buddha's wondrous pure land. Bodhisattvas gather round, golden form like the mountain king, steadfast like the elephant's pace, Buddha's eyes like the blue lotus. Thus I bow to Amida, Buddha's form round like the moon, bright like thousand suns and moons, Buddha's voice like the nightingale. Thus I bow to Amida, Buddha's figure on Kanon's crown, adorned with wondrous features. Buddha subdues evilness. Thus I bow to Amida, beyond compare Amida's pure, virtue shining clear like space, all benefit from Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida, Bodhisattvas all renown, Maras to praise Amida, primal vow made for our sake. Thus I bow to Amida, golden ponds where lotus bloom, towers a throne of goodness. Buddha lives like the mountain king. Thus I bow to Amida, Bodhisattvas come afar, attaining true happiness. They revere the Buddha's face. Thus I bow to Amida. All life changes like the dew. We have no permanent self. Buddha teaches this law to all. Thus I bow to Amida. No evil in the pure land, and no fear of evil paths. Faithful hearts honor Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida, saving us through many ways. No tempters, no evil friends. Birth leads to enlightenment. Thus I bow to Amida. Amida, thus I have praised virtues boundless like the sea. These virtues shared with others for birth into the pure land. Namandabu, 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 Namandabu. The virtue of Amida's vow is shared equally by all, together attaining awakened mind. We are born in the land of peace. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Golden Chain of Love. I am a link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I must keep my link bright and strong. I will try to be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will try to think pure and beautiful thoughts, to say pure and beautiful words, and to do pure and beautiful deeds, knowing that on what I do now depends not only my happiness or unhappiness, but also that of others. May every link in Amida Buddha's golden chain of love become bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Welcome once again, and at this time I'd like to share some thoughts about the Buddha's teaching with you. So today we are celebrating Gotan-e, which is Shinran's birthday, or Shinran Shonin's birthday. As you know, Shinran Shonin is called the founder of Jodo Shinshu. To be honest, I don't really always like to call him founder, because it makes it sound as though Shinran himself set out to start a religion or a religious institution. Actually, nothing could be further from the truth. If you ask Shinran himself to describe the significance of his own life, I think he would have said something like, I am simply a disciple of the Buddha. Throughout his life, he always saw himself as an ordinary person, a person who, through the working of great compassion, was able to receive and share the teaching of Shakyamuni Buddha and of the other Buddhist masters who explained and clarified the teaching throughout the centuries. Shinran especially revered his own teacher, Honin, who helped him to grasp and receive the Buddhist teaching of Nembutsu in a way that was appropriate to his own condition, which was that of a bombu, a person of blind and deluded attachments. So, though Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, revealed the true teaching, Shinran was a person who understood the importance of the Buddhist teaching for ordinary people like us. Had he not been born, we might never have been able to understand the true meaning of the Pure Land teaching, and we might still be drowning in the ocean of birth and death. For this reason, our celebration of Gotan-e, Shinran's birthday, should be a truly happy occasion for all of us. Shinran was born in the village of Hino in 1173, during a period of great civil strife in Japan. There was war and political unrest throughout the land, and naturally great economic instability. Shinran's own family seems to have been affected by the hardship of these times, and he, along with his father and brothers, all became monks of the Tendai order. Shinran was 9 years old at the time. This was apparently a common thing for certain classes of people to do in those days when falling on hard economic times. Whole families were ordained in this way. Of course, there is a traditional and legendary account that explains that Shinran became a monk because he lost his whole family, and in experiencing impermanence in this way, he made the decision at the age of 9 to devote his life to seeking enlightenment. Most modern scholars reject this story, however, because it is known from other sources that his father and brothers also became monks at the same time. We don't know what happened to his mother, unfortunately. Truly, we don't know what the 9-year-old Shinran thought about becoming a monk. All we know is that he was ordained at Shonin Temple in Kyoto. We also know that he must have accepted his role with sincerity because for 20 years he really worked hard to follow the precepts and practices that monks were supposed to follow in order to perfect himself and to attain enlightenment. But no matter how hard he worked, Shinran could not overcome a sense of his own limitations. In fact, he felt himself weighed down more and more by an unbearable burden, a feeling of an unbearable burden of evil karma, bad karma, his blind passions, desires and attachments, which Shakyamuni Buddha taught are the cause of all sufferings in the world. Shinran felt himself to be completely defiled and that he was a hopeless person, and he believed that enlightenment for him was impossible. Thus he was sure that he was bound for hell in the next life. Almost in despair, Shinran sought an answer by taking a 100-day retreat at Rokakudo Temple, where he experienced the vision of Prince Shotoku, whom he revered as the Bodhisattva Kannon. According to a letter written years later by his wife Eshini, Shinran immediately left the temple after this vision and sought out Honen Shonin. From Honin, Shinran learned that there was no difference in the Buddha's eyes between a good person or an evil person. All that is required for liberation from the suffering of birth and death is the single-hearted recitation of Nembutsu. From that point on, Shinran ceased to despair or even to worry about his fate in the next world. He completely entrusted himself to Amida Buddha, to infinite wisdom and compassion, the infinite compassion that is at the heart of all reality. Shinran understood that whether good or evil, male or female, strong or weak, rich or poor, whatever your condition in life, all beings depend utterly on other power, the power of true reality itself, the inconceivable oneness of all life. That's the true power that guides us, that makes every moment of life possible. The true power that sustains everything, and which is actually enlightenment itself, Buddhahood itself. So from that time on, Shinran's whole life was devoted to interpreting and sharing the Nembutsu teaching that he had received from Honin. Shinran is a unique figure in the history of religion. Although he is revered as the founder of Jodo Shinshu, he never claimed to be a master or founder at all. Shinran never forced his teaching on anyone with the threat of hell or punishment, as many teachers did. Shinran, in fact, had confidence that in the end, all beings everywhere would be saved and embraced by Amida Buddha's great compassion, and that all beings would ultimately attain Buddhahood, complete enlightenment. He was a person Shinran was a person of deep self-reflection, and he was totally honest, never deluding himself about his own goodness or wisdom. He had an open and critical mind and heart, and courageously criticized the political and religious leaders of his time for their unjust actions and for their behavior that ran counter or contrary to the Buddha's true teaching. Shinran really desired the liberation and happiness of all beings, so he urged his followers to pray for the peace of the world. Shinran was first and foremost a Buddhist, a person who understood himself to be on the path, walking the path of awakening, actively seeking liberation and understanding throughout his whole life. Shinran was a person of great trust and confidence in boundless compassion, and never saw himself as being superior to anyone else. He desired all people to be able to live their lives with freedom, total freedom, and with confidence. For us today, Shinran is very important because he teaches us how to live in a confusing and contradictory world. It is common for people to look to religion to find the final answer to the questions of life, or some kind of comforting platitudes that give us a sense of being in the right, on the right side of things, and going to the right place, after we die. Buddhism, however, tries to make us see ourselves in relation to the reality of things as they really are. Actually, we are all very limited beings, and our view of life is always influenced or even actually corrupted by our self-centered nature. We really can't know the truth, and even our understanding of Buddhism is always relative to our limited knowledge and experience. It is easy to understand the spiritual path as one of triumphing over our limitations and reaching nirvana. But Shinran showed us that the only way we limited and foolish beings can attain awakening in this life is by realizing our own selfish nature and seeing ourselves as we really are. It is through the gratitude toward others that naturally arises in us. As a result of the Buddha's great compassion, you see that we are able to transcend our limited, judgmental mind and awaken to the joy of life as it is. That's how we are transformed. Shinran often used the expression that the waters of the defiled waters of birth of the ocean of birth and death, when they reach the ocean of the Amida's vow, of the Nembutsu, of boundless compassion, they become one. So they're just as we are transformed to become that completely awakened, completely pure part of the Buddha's. We become one with Amida Buddha. Shinran insisted that Buddhism is not the way of becoming a spiritual expert or master. It is the way of the disciple, of one who humbly realizes that he or she always has everything to learn. Shinran himself was always a humble student, always listening, always learning. Even though he had the confidence of being totally embraced by Amida's compassion and wisdom, Shinran always remained simply Shinran, an ordinary limited person just like you and I. Shinran never assumed that he was a master, never called himself a master. He never stopped walking the path of the humble student. Interestingly, of the great Buddhist masters, Shinran never ordained anyone as a disciple. People followed him, but he never said, "Okay, I'm transferring my knowledge to you," or I'm appointing you as a follower, so on. No, everything was from Amida. He simply trusted Amida, and Amida would save every person, not him. He was a very humble man. There's no limit to how much we can learn in this world. how much we can awaken to, realize. There's so much to learn that although I might think I know something today, tomorrow I might very well discover that I was wrong. Buddhism teaches us that there are many ways to see and interpret our perceptions and experiences. Actually, thinking about the world we live in today, I can't think of a more appropriate attitude to have. Every one of us sees things based on what we know and understand. I can only see the world around me based on my understanding and my own limitations. My understanding is always going to be limited and corrupted by my own self-interest, so I can never have a totally correct view. The only correct view I can have, according to Shinran, is to recognize that my understanding is incomplete, always incomplete. No matter how wise or intelligent I think I am, I can never say that I'm finished learning, finished awakening, finished realizing. There is always more to learn and always new ways to see the world around me and to understand myself. In fact, the best thing is to always have the beginner's mind so that we are open to appreciating life as it is, always, at every moment. It's quite normal for us human beings to want to feel superior and intelligent. We don't want to admit that we are ignorant and need the guidance of others. But for us to attain wisdom, we need to realize our own limitations. We need the humility to seek the truth and to learn from our teachers who are all around us. Even if I think I know something well, I can still learn from others. With this attitude, we are always able to live each precious moment of life fully, without anxiety or regret. To be a Buddhist means that through the spirit of true seeking, of being always open to receiving wisdom in everything we do, we can spend our lives fully awake to and grateful for every rare and unrepeatable moment. Shinran lived just such a life. Because of his humble seeking spirit, we have been able to encounter the true reality of Amida's great compassion. As we celebrate Gotan-e, Shinran's birthday, let us renew our dedication to the Nembutsu teaching, and let us reflect ever more deeply to see ourselves as we truly are, with deep gratitude for the precious journey we call life. Thank you so much for listening, and let us put our hands together in Kansho as we recite the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. We will now recite the Metta, the loving kindness meditation. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May I be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to me. May I live in peace and harmony. May my family be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my teachers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my friends be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May strangers be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May my enemies be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. May all beings be happy and well. May no harm or difficulties come to them. May they live in peace and harmony. Well, thank you so much for joining us today for our Kahului Hongwanji online YouTube Sunday service and for our remembrance or celebration of the birthday of Shinran Shonin, as well as our family gratitude remembrance. I have a few announcements to let you know. Next week, May 29th, there will be no services, no in-person, no YouTube. June 5th is our Graduate Sunday. There will be an in-person service here at Kahului Hongwanji, but no YouTube service. Our next YouTube service will be June 12th, at which we will have our regular family service, and we will also have an in-person service as well as YouTube. June 19th, we will have a family service and family gratitude remembrance, both as a in-person and YouTube service. And then on June 26th, there will be no service here at Kahului Hongwanji, no YouTube service. We will be having the Buddhist Study Center summer session, the Maui satellite session, and that will be at Wailuku Hongwanji. It will begin at 9 a.m. with the service, and will be followed by the summer session lecture. The speaker will be Professor Scott Mitchell, who teaches at IBS, the Institute of Buddhist Studies in Berkeley. He is a professor, a scholar who studies Buddhism in the West, modern Buddhism, expressions of Buddhism, such as ours here in Hawaii. Different, it's evolved and become different than the way it's done in Asia, of course. And so there will be no YouTube service, no service here at Kahului, just will be at Wailuku Hongwanji. And as I say, it begins at 9 a.m. So thank you so much once again for joining us today, and I hope that you enjoyed today's service and that it had meaning for you. And so let's close our service now by putting our hands together and reciting the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.